The Sanction and the Silencing: How Athens Tech Used Vague Allegations to Justify an Unconstitutional Gag Order. Subtitle: While my instructors praised my character and academic performance, the administration was building a secret case to remove me from campus. This is how institutional betrayal weaponizes perception over reality. Introduction. The letter in my hand. On April 21st, 2025, I received a formal disciplinary sanction from the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs at Athens Technical College. Reading the letter felt surreal. I was an honor student with a 3.55 GPA, praised by my instructors, yet I was being formally punished and effectively banished from campus based on a secret, quote, sworn statement, close quote, I was never allowed to see. Staring back at me from the page was a chillingly vague but official order. I was to, quote, avoid engaging in potentially controversial conversations with individuals you do not know well, close quote. This investigation will demonstrate that the sanction was not a legitimate disciplinary action, but the culmination of a retaliatory campaign designed to silence and remove a student who challenged the administration's narrative. Its primary weapons were an unconstitutional gag order and a fabricated story of misconduct that stood in stark contrast to the documented reality of my academic life. The administration's actions provide a textbook example of, quote, institutional DARVO, close quote, a psychological playbook of abuse where an institution attempts to deny its wrongdoing, attack the person raising concerns, and reverse the roles of victim and offender. Deconstructing the gag order, an unconstitutional silencing. As a public institution, Athens Technical College is a, quote, state actor, close quote, bound by the strictures of the U.S. Constitution. For over 50 years, since the landmark Supreme Court case Tinker versus Des Moines, it has been established law that students do not, quote, shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate, close quote. The court established that student speech is protected unless officials can prove it would, quote, materially and substantially disrupt, close quote, the school's work, a high legal standard the college never even attempted to meet. The order to, quote, avoid engaging in potentially controversial conversations, close quote, is a direct and blatant violation of this precedent. It is a form of prior restraint on speech, intentionally vague and impossibly broad. What constitutes, quote, controversial, close quote? Who determines what topics are off limits? This ambiguity creates a powerful, quote, chilling effect, close quote, forcing a student to self-censor out of a fear of violating an undefinable rule. This was not a tool for maintaining order. It was a weapon for psychological control. A vague command is impossible to follow perfectly, guaranteeing the student will live in a state of perpetual anxiety, constantly self-policing his thoughts and words. The goal was not to prevent a specific disruption, but to break the student's will to speak freely at all. The wall of evidence, a chorus of contradiction. The administration's case against me was built on a foundation of lies, a narrative that collapses under the weight of their own records and the documented praise from my instructors. The student portrayed in the sanction letter simply does not exist in the factual record. The supportive sociologist, Dr. Anita Thompson. During the summer 2024 semester, Dr. Thompson consistently praised my work. In one email, she wrote, quote, you are a great writer, thinker, and communicator, close quote. In another, she affirmed, quote, you are a very strong writer and communicator. I wish you the best in your current and future academic endeavors. Seems like you're on a great path, close quote. This documented support established a clear pattern of positive faculty relationships. The encouraging psychologist, Miss Kim Morris. On February 24, 2025, a mere 11 days after the administration's ambush meeting where I was confronted, Psychology Department Chair Kim Morris wrote me a formal letter of recommendation. She confirmed I had earned, quote, A's in both classes, close quote, I took with her and stated, quote, he contributed to class discussions and was generally thoughtful of others. His commitment and consistency demonstrate his strong dedication to academic responsibilities, close quote. The caring humanist, Dr. Shamala Gallagher. During the spring 2025 semester, while the administration's campaign was escalating, my interactions with my humanities professor were entirely positive. After she was contacted about a, quote, bit report, close quote, filed against me, she reached out to offer support. In a March 10 email, she wrote back to me, quote, Cetra, what a wonderful email. I'm so glad that my reaching out and our conversation helped, close quote. This directly refutes the idea that I was a problem in her class. The accommodating speaker, Miss Ansley Dyer. The ultimate proof of the administration's fabricated narrative comes from my public speaking instructor. On May 6, 2025, weeks after the sanction was issued, she sent a final email confirming my grade. Quote, thank you for your diligence and timely work. Your final grade is a 95.8%, which is an A. You should be proud of your hard work. Colon, parentheses, close quote, smiley face. This mountain of documented praise from 4 different instructors during the exact time frame of the administration's alleged concerns proves their case was not just weak. It was a pretextual invention. This was further validated by my induction into the Phi Theta Kappa PTK Honor Society in October 2024, an honor I maintain VPSA Lindsay Reed personally nominated me for. The administrative deception, a timeline of betrayal. The timing of the administration's actions reveals their true motive, retaliation. After the initial ambush meeting on February 13, my 3 repeated professional attempts to seek clarity through email were met with a wall of silence. My emails, February 24, March 2nd, and March 17, went unanswered for over 2 months. During this time, the administration was misleading me about the nature of an administrative withdrawal from my chemistry class, presenting it as a supportive option to protect my GPA, but later used it as part of a pattern of alleged misconduct. The stonewalling only broke after I escalated the issue. On April 15, 2025, having exhausted all internal remedies, I text messaged TCSG General Counsel Josh McKoon personally. Just 6 days later, on April 21, VPSA Reed issued the formal sanction. This sequence is not a coincidence. It is a clear demonstration of cause and effect. The sanction was a direct, punitive response to my act of seeking oversight from a higher authority. It was a retaliatory strike designed to neutralize the threat I posed. Not a threat of physical disruption, but the threat of legal and public accountability. The following table maps the specific actions of the ATC administration to each stage of the DARVO framework, revealing a coherent pattern of institutional abuse. DARVO stage, administrative action supporting evidence, deny. VPSA Reed's office engaged in over 2 months of administrative silence, ignoring 3 separate professional emails seeking clarity, due process, and a path to resolution. The emails sent February 24, March 2nd, and March 17, 2025 went unanswered, constituting a deliberate strategy of procedural stonewalling designed to deny the student's right to a response. Attack. The administration ambushed Huff with vague allegations, threatened him with felony stalking statutes, and issued the sanction based on a secret, quote, sworn statement, close quote, that was never provided to him. The, quote, ambush meeting, close quote, of February 13, 2025, and the sanction of April 21, 2025, denied Huff the fundamental right to face his accuser or see the evidence against him, representing a direct attack on his right to due process. Reverse victim and offender. The institution officially sanctioned Huff, who was the victim of stonewalling and ambush, casting him as the wrongdoer, while positioning itself as the party needing to take protective action. The sanction itself is the ultimate reversal. It punishes Huff for the, quote, further concern, close quote, his attempts to get answers caused, framing his quest for due process as the actual offense. Conclusion: the weaponization of perception. When an institution's narrative contradicts the documented facts, it is a hallmark of betrayal. The sanction ordering me to, quote, avoid potentially controversial conversations, close quote, was not a rule, but an unconstitutional gag order. The administration's case against me was not based on evidence, but was directly refuted by the glowing praise of their own faculty. And the timing proves the action was not disciplinary, but retaliatory. This is the anatomy of institutional betrayal. It is the story of an administration that, when faced with a choice between acknowledging its errors and silencing a student, chose to violate the First Amendment, ignore its own faculty, and subvert the principles of due process. With every internal door at Athens Technical College slammed shut, and with my academic future frozen by punitive holds, I was left with no other choice. I had to take my evidence of a betrayal to a higher authority. I had to turn to the political leadership of the state of Georgia, the very party I had supported leading up to the November 2024 election, believing that the system ultimately was designed to protect its citizens. I was about to learn that the rot was deeper than I could have ever imagined. Quote, I have sworn upon the altar of God eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the minds of man. Close quote, Thomas Jefferson. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing here on Substack. For my daily motivational videos and the powerful spoken performance of this essay's message, you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Orions. I look forward to connecting with you all there. Hashtag Love Learning continues. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and be courageous. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Quotes, Joshua 1:9. Thank you, and have a blessed day.